There we go. There we go. There we go. Sorry. Sorry, good people. So LAR movement still moving. Um, yeah. So exactly, Gregory. I think the title of this is Tough Love, versus Coddling. And I thought about this today because of parenting. And what's up, George? What's up, Mr. Edmore? That a lot of us, we don't think about it, we don't talk about it enough. So I think I'd address it where first and foremost, what is the outcome of tough love and what is the outcome of coddling? And the thing about it is, if we go by the stereotypes, tough love, the outcome is usually a productive adult who has issues. Um, and then on the flip side of that, the outcome of coddling is an unproductive adult who has issues. So, as an adult, what are we gonna do? Like, as an adult, as a parent, what's up, Jamar? What's up, Casper? As an adult, what are you gonna do if you're a parent? Would you rather tough love or coddling? Now I know you're supposed to have a balance in between both. That's kind of why you have two parents, the good cop, bad cop type of thing. But for our society, that's not necessarily popping right now. But the thing I was thinking about the most was the outcome. You know, we don't want to say that a lot of the people who are hard nosed and harsh, and may even be go getters, probably got that from tough love. And the people who are entitled and want things to be given to them probably came from being coddled. So, which one would you rather be? Dion, what's happening? My opinion, you know, is tough love because when I think about it, um, tough love got me further than coddling. What's up, Aubrey? Like I can't, and I'm not talking about it was close. You know, it's not even close. You get what I'm saying? Um, Now I'm not saying because I'm using the two extremes. There are people in your life that just got love for you, and that love it helps you and pushes you to do things. But even with that, it's normally those tough conversations and those tough love moments that they let you know, look, I love you, but I love you enough to put you in your place. And I don't understand how we living in a society where coddling is okay. Because in my opinion, I haven't heard of anybody who was successful from being coddled. And to me, to be perfectly honest, I think coddling is a form of hate. You know, because even babies don't want to be coddled. They want to get and do it. Get up and be independent and do things on their own. You know, anybody who's raised a child know they get to that phase where I can do it. I do it myself. I don't know. Don't help me. It's a funny phase, but it's very important because even they want to be self-sufficient. And I think that's the outcome of tough love is to be self-sufficient. And I think the outcome of being coddled is to be dependent because you always make excuses for a person who you coddle. You know, they'll do it, they need this, something happened. And part of the reason I'm thinking about this is because I was watching a clip with Keisha Cole and her mother Frankie. And Keisha Cole was like, the reason why I kept saying I'm Italian and I'm mixed is because my mama said she was dating this guy. And her mother never told her who the guy is to this day. And Keisha Cole said she looked up the guy and she looked up the place and it never existed. And she's like, well, it was in San Jose. She's like, you told me it was in L.A. It was never in L.A. So the thing about this is, some people run from tough love because they love the idea of being coddled. and they run themselves right into a situation that sucks, and that's destructive. Now, the second part of this, you know, I would have to put up is the second part would be, how can I put this? Uh, hold on. Let me see what you said, Aubrey. Do you think it's the way people come off with tough love? Like if somebody comes at you with an intention to mess you up just because they don't like you versus someone who checks you with good intentions. You know what? I've been told that, it is the way people come off because I'm one of those people they say that my friends and family tell me, my family and friends rather, they tell me, I can be my approach can put people off, good intentions or not, and I'm not sure if that's something I gotta work on because to a degree, I look at my family and friends as they soft. Cause when it's time to do dirt, they 10 toes down. They ain't got no problem with that, but they got a problem with getting checked for when the dirt get found out. So, it's just a trip. Thanks, Big Poke Dog. So I mean, I can see it though. Like sometimes you do, even if you care about somebody, you won't come at them wrong and it's gonna ruin the whole thing. But I'm not really, you know, if you got to get my personal opinion, if somebody, if you're in a position or in a situation where somebody has to check you, it ain't gonna be nice. It just ain't gonna be nice. Like they gotta check you, they gonna have to get at you. That's baked into the cake, as BGS would say. But the second part about that is this: when you tough love versus is coddling his resentment. Even though tough love, in my opinion, is more effective, you're gonna get way more resentment for a person. It's called sociopath nature. I got you. Uh, it's you're gonna resent a person who gave you tough love because you're gonna resent the fact that they did it. You're gonna fit tough love as far as with people is offensive. You know, it's like that person was always on me. They was always riding me. They was always telling me I wasn't good enough. What's up, Tony Davis? And and I don't believe that. I believe normally tough love people tell you how to get better, but it is interpreted for the masses as they told you wasn't good enough. So you're gonna resent the person who approaches you with tough love. But the irony of that is the person who coddles you, you don't resent them. And that's what's weird to me because the person who coddled you, you might have this, in my opinion, it's like a Stockholm syndrome type of love because you love them, even though you say they loved you, but your life doesn't say that they loved you because the outcome is not so good. But the fact that you felt loved trumps the fact that they might have coddled you into being a failure as a human being. So there's really no resentment a lot of times for people who are coddled. Now, you know what? I take that back. There is some at times because I've met people who became adults and they had to like catch up to everybody else, and then they resented being coddled because it put them behind the 8 ball, and now they saw people who were further off than them in life, and they realized it was because they had more tough love and structure in their lives. So I that does happen too. I gotta say that does happen too. It's weird to me though, but because, and when I say it's weird is because when people coddle, parents and family members and friends coddle people, they do it with good intentions, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So the good intentions wind up really messing things up. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Mr. Moore. Yeah, I had to rethink that position when I was saying that. I definitely get that. And resentment comes into play, though. It definitely comes into play. Now, past that part, I think what's next is the respect level. there's a respect that goes in with tough love versus coddling. You're gonna respect the person with who gives you tough love, and sometimes you might just say you fear that person because they're not afraid to take it there with you. So it may be a hint of respect and a hint of fear in that equation, but when it all boils down to it, that person has boundaries and that person has consequences. So you're most likely to respect that person. You're most likely to say to know not to know what to say and do around that person and what not to say and do around that person, because you know that there's an immediate consequence for dealing with it. Now, on the flip side, you're not really going to respect the person that's coddling you, because anything goes with them. They have no real boundaries. And the reason why I say they have no real boundaries or consequences is because they're coddling. It's like there's always an excuse for bad behavior. Oh, cool, Pop Smoke. A lot of times I've seen it where, that parent or that friend or that coworker or colleague or whatever, the one that just is so cool with everything, is a person you don't respect. You try to run them over, even though in a sense they're trying to coddle you, but with good intention. In these current days, coddling translates to having a high EQ. Yeah, and that's crazy. That is, I do think coddling ruins kids for life, but that's part of the problem to me. Is that at the end of the day, a person, you won't respect the person that coddles you, and ironically, you're not gonna be a person that coddles people because of how you treat the person that coddles you. You might be more so indifferent, but you're not gonna be coddling the person because you're like, nice guys finish last, and people take kindness for weakness. That's what that coddling is. It's like it's not respected. And on the flip side about that, when I talked about respect with tough love, with it, it has a hint of fear in it. You're not going to pull that type of stuff with a person who provides tough love, because you respect the fact that they might put their foot in your ass, which in some ways says something about you, because the reason I'm talking about this is the vast majority of people aren't self-motivated. So the person that gives them tough love and put their foot in their ass is normally the person that respects it, because that's the person that pushes them to do something that they wouldn't do on their own. So that's why they respect it. The person that coddles them is not going to push them to do anything but BS, Yeah, I could definitely say that. Man, anybody says different need to be smacked. I definitely get that. Now, the other thing, I think the fourth thing I talk about with this is the response. The response to this is very simple, in my opinion. People respond to tough love even if they rebel against it. That they respond to that. Like, tough love might anger you to the point that you're going to do something. Or, tough love is kind of under the umbrella of, oh, I'll prove you wrong. You might dislike the person for giving it to you, but you'll do something I bet you I am somebody. Don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to show you. That's under the tough love mantra. What's up, Rael? Those are called boundaries. I get you. You're right. And that's the thing. Like, the response is interesting, because I don't see people normally responding to coddling, because the response to coddling is usually R&R, rest and relaxation. Coddling made you feel comfortable to just do little to nothing. And if, nothing from nothing leaves nothing, So that's the thing. And you can't complain about nothing. If you put nothing in, you're going to get nothing out. Thus, part of the entitlement, because I think sometimes part of that response is people who are coddled feel entitled because they're in some ways saying, you coddled me, so you owe me. And the guilt comes in of the person that coddled the other person because they know they sabotaged them. So you participating owing them, so you keep paying them by coddling them more, putting it off for another day. Is red pill rage? Yeah, you know what? That happens too. He's a coddling is for girls. Unfortunately, coddling is for everybody nowadays, man. We see a lot of coddled people. Like I remember, I went to a high school. It was interesting to me because at this particular high school, the parents could come. The parents give the kids lunch. Actually, a high school and a grade school, they're not too far from each other. And I'm seeing these parents pulling up like Uber Eats for each kid. Oh, my kid doesn't really eat lunch food. My kid doesn't. So you got these parents who are at home while their kids are in school, and the kids don't want to eat the food at home, and the kids don't want to eat the food in the school. So these parents are over there going to Chick-fil-A and going to Whataburger and going to Taco Cabana and going to Chili's and going to seafood restaurants, and they're bringing these kids lunch every day. And I'm thinking to myself, like, the kids are like, yeah, I'll get what I want. But I'm thinking to myself, especially when I see the high school ones, like, when they go to college, they're going to be screwed because ain't nobody going to get them that food, and they're going to realize it's expensive to get fast food every day. It's going to add up, especially when they're in college. And that coddling their response is going to be drastic, And the thing about it is, I will say this about that. And when I talk about the response to coddling, I think people who get coddled make up the excuse. Oh, dang, I ain't know that, Casper. Dang. Salute to you, fam, because I know you had to make it through a lot of things. Because I know some families are good families, but most families aren't. Hold on for a second. Let me see what you said, Aubrey. I said that's why building a talent or getting involved in a sport, for me, you as the band, okay, is key. If the parents are coddle types, that activity is key in breaking that out of them. That's very true, man. What you said, Teddy, although there's a difference between tough love and irrational abuse, like kicking your kids out at 18 during a recession isn't tough love. That's just messed up. Well, I mean, sometimes tough love is tied. People look at tough love as abuse because we look at a lot of shit as abuse today. You cut somebody out, you're verbally abusing me, man. If you don't shut your stupid ass up, hell, I'm hurt. Oh, my soul is beating. It's like, shut up. If you don't eat what I provide you, you won't eat that. And that's how I came up too. But that's part of the thing because when people are coddled, I see the response of coddled kids. A lot of times the coddled kids were the kids who would say stuff like, I'll sell drugs. I'll go in the streets and I'll commit crimes if you don't want to give me what I want, because they wanted shit so bad. Like coddle kids weren't poor kids wanted things were different than coddle kids who felt entitled to things, And I saw the difference coming up. But people with tough love actually were go-getters. Like, hey, you want something, you got to earn it. And that made people be go-getters because a lot of times when you understood when somebody told you to earn something, you started to learn the process. Okay, if I do this, I actually will receive the benefits that I'm looking for. I actually can get the things that I want. Coddle people don't do that, Right. Exactly, Mauricia. Because I'm going to tell you, like, I remember my very first semester, like when I was in college, I could tell who got the people who were overly sheltered. I remember we first got to campus. We was in the freshman dorms, Jones and Bowley. If anybody who ever went to Southern, they know where that's at in the back. And I never forget As soon as the parents left and it got dark, girls was in the window. These girls was in the window in their dorm room and they were just stripping. So it's like a whole little show. They stripping in the window because they happy that they finally free and they grown and they out on their own. And if I'm not mistaken, they got caught because it was a big spectacle and they got put out. So because they only lasted the first day, but to me it was because they finally felt free. And that's another thing about when I talk about the response, because we become adults, and adults who have tough love look at society different from adults who got coddled. Adults who understand tough love, they understand consequences. Adults who got coddled always don't understand consequences. I hate when I hear, even when my son says it doesn't matter. Sometimes his mother says that it doesn't matter, but oh, it does matter. It does matter. If X plus Y equals Z, you get what I'm saying? So if you do something, good or bad, it matters what you did, because there's gonna be a response to that. In life, you violate, we demonstrate. Karma is real. But that's just my thought on that part of it. Bo, what's up? Bo Cobain. Demetrius was good. The other thing that I think about is, how do people relate to tough love versus coddling? And what I mean by that is, like what y'all saying in the chat, as you get older, you can relate to tough love. I get, you might not get the reasoning when you're young, but as you go older, you relate to it. You know why it happens. You can relate to a person who's providing tough love. Like, okay, the reason that and then when I deal with my cousins and my godchildren, I can relate to them the message. This is why your parents are saying this, because this is what's coming down the pike as you get older. You know what I'm saying? Jewel, what's going on? To the Maven. This is what's going on. And I can explain to even my son and, like my god kids and stuff, I can explain to them the things about life that they don't know, because life is really built on tough love to be successful and not coddling. Because even the most successful people who have children, their children are coddled. Those even rich children are stuck in arrested development, and those children can't, and they ruin generational wealth. If you see most rich children, a lot of them don't take their family to the next level. They don't take the wheel, and they don't take the wheel and go in the right direction. When the torch is passed, they don't take that responsibility because they were coddled so much. They're running from the responsibility, and all they're trying to do is shop till they drop. So yeah, coddle people, the butler handle. A lot of times it doesn't. Thomas, man, I have been saying that for years, bro. I'm not in quick term, it stands for Lorraine's Autobahn Revival. If you know about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, you understand that it's trying to bring something back that died. But getting back to the relating part, a lot of us don't relate well to coddling because we don't even like being around adults who are coddled. Like sometimes when I hear the sisters talk, I don't want to be no man's mother. They're saying they don't want to coddle a man. But a lot of times, unfortunately, what up, Raiders? Unfortunately, they don't know that, grown men don't want to be coddled. They just want to be with a woman. So that's part of the conundrum with that one. But when I think about it, when I hear people who can relate to being coddled, they make a million excuses. Like it's always an excuse. You know what? Maybe they're acting like that because somebody somebody rained on their parade at 3. Like I was clowning with a friend of mine. I was listening to somebody on YouTube actually talk about they was insecure about their weight because when they was 10 years old, they wanted to get some extra wing at the table to eat for dinner, and the dad told her, that you look like you didn't ate enough, basically. So it gave her a complex about her weight. And I was thinking to myself, you know, if that's all, if that's the reason for your insecurities, if that's part of the reason for your insecurities as an adult, you had a pretty good life. Because there are girls out here talking about they got molested, they got beat, they got raped, they got made fun of, they got bullied, and all you got is a wing. Shoot, people wish they could relate to that. So to me, that says coddled, but I could be wrong. She might have had other things, so I just don't know. But I listened to that and I was like, not a good thing. And I crack up when I hang out with my guys and whatnot, my homeboys. We think about how to be successful, and it's usually taking the hard road. You can't be successful in life taking the easy road. Not in this life, not in this society. So I can relate to people who are about grinding. And I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound weird. I went to jail off of just petty like tickets. I had some tickets, and I didn't realize I paid. They sent me 2 different sets. I paid one set, and then I got another set in the mail, and I didn't even think about it. So I got same ticket, same day. They sent 2 different bills. So I wound up getting in jail for a warrant on the other bill. But I was in jail with this guy, and he was a street cat, and he was like, everybody want to shine, but don't nobody want to grind. I ain't never forget that. And that made me think about, this issue about grinding. Brother Malcolm was an angel, prime example of what a discarded individual was sacrificed for a linear path. I get you. I get you. So I was thinking about that because a lot of people who can relate to hard work, smart work, dedication, discipline. I feel like Floyd Mayweather. Hard work, dedication, hard work. Faith, belief, a good team. Like they can relate to tough love. They can relate to the pride you get of your hard work and dedication paying off. They can relate to that. Oh man, Cole, it was, you know what? At that time, I can tell you, at that time, what they were doing in this city was they were sending them double bills, but there was also arresting guys on warrants that they had already paid as a revenue stream. So if you had a ticket, you paid your ticket, they'll send you another bill. Like I said, well, mine, they split them up. But they'd also send you, if you get a warrant and you pay your warrant a year later, you might as well keep that warrant. They only want your fingerprints. No, they want your fingerprints, but they also want, the way to keep jails viable is to always have inmates. So they don't necessarily just want your fingerprints. They want you to come. They want people to arrest. They don't care how long, but to keep people constantly in the system. That's partially what that's about. Being in jail pays a lot of people. Thug died. Man, they ain't had. I didn't eat none of that stuff, man. Well, I can't. No, you get hungry, but that bread and bologna and yeah. Anyway, hated that. But the other thing about it is, yeah, man, experience is the best teacher. That expunge. Well, I ain't did nothing. I never did nothing serious enough to get a felony. So I don't need nothing expunged. But I ain't gonna lie, boy, they be out here wilding. You see, hold up, you like bologna? You got issues. I grew up like everybody else who ate fried bologna sandwiches and syrup sandwiches and sugar sandwiches and tang sandwiches and shit like that. No more bologna, buddy. I'm like pimp named Slickback. Give me turkey, lettuce, some cheese, a little bit of mustard and tomato. We good. Did it make me tougher? It wasn't. Jewel, I can tell you, like, I was just in a tank. Only thing, when you go to jail, you sitting in a tank. Well, I was in a tank for like 3 days. But when you're in a tank, you really can't sleep. You know, it take you when they take you to gin pop. That's cool, but yeah, you damn right, sugar sandwiches. No, it's you know you like you ain't never grown up in the hood before. Well, Miss Jones, maybe you haven't. Yeah, sugar sandwiches. God dog it. Darren, what's up? The other thing about tough love versus coddling is which one do you implement? And that's the funny thing about tough love and coddling, right? Um Normally you when you when somebody passes you the torch and you're trying to teach the next generation, you're gonna implement tough love before you will coddling. You're gonna implement tough love. You're not gonna implement coddling. You know, some people you gonna expect understand some people need love. Oh, because man, I got you on that one. I got you on that one, Casper. You know, both strategic. Man, what's happening? Here's to me, when you implement tough love, you know it works. Like that. That's the only reason I say which one do you implement, because tough love has a history of working. Coddling doesn't. You know, even if somebody really needs to be coddled, it still in the long term doesn't work for them. Prometheus, what's good, man? Oh, dang. I ain't even talking about that, fam. But as you implement these things, I think, when people implement coddling, people are looked at funny. Like if you hang out with a person and the way they thinking about helping the next generation is coddling them, you look at them funny. You like, you really just gonna do that to them? You just really gonna set them up for failure like that? You just gonna let all of this slide, huh? That's what you gonna do? That's what we doing? You gonna pat them on their back and tell them they're great even though they're not doing a damn thing, huh? That's what we doing. You could be whatever you want, even though you don't have to work for it, you don't have to study, you don't have to put in any effort. You could just be whatever you want. You're strong and you're smart and you could do anything. And you just sitting there looking at them like, so if they could do anything, why don't you make them do something instead of just telling them they could do anything? What the hell is that? They got to believe in themselves. See, all this self-esteem shit is stupid to me. Yeah, exactly. Colin is counterproductive. All that self-esteem stuff is, I want to make somebody feel important, feel great. I want you to feel like you can do anything. I want you to be empowered. Well, nothing empowers you like knowing how to do something. You have to have a skill to be empowered. And self-esteem is not a skill. And it's going to sound weird. I was listening to an interview with Tory Lanez, talking about, he doesn't, I guess he was on one of them female talk shows, and he said something, they asked him about what did he mean by he doesn't buy gifts for women who can't afford their own expensive things. Don't ask for something expensive if you can't buy it for yourself, right? But part of the thing he said was, when I'm hanging out with somebody, I come with a vibe, I come with it. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what the fuck is that? Who the fuck cares about a vibe? Like, you hanging out with somebody, I come with a vibe. When you're around me, there's a vibe. What the fuck is the vibe? Who gives a shit? Like, maybe I'm that cold, but I don't believe that is not fucking tangible. Nobody gives a shit about a vibe. A vibe comes from people, paying your tithes. Come on, David, I appreciate it. That's why guys have no ambition. In direction. I don't. Exactly. Self-esteem is self-love. I get all that. Exactly. Make that kid learn coding. Make that kid learn coding, because guess what? Coding is going to put food on the table, and maybe even way more than food. You know what I'm saying? But this idea that, I don't, and it might be weird to say this, I'm a creative person as far as artistically, but I hate artists. I hate people who have an artist mentality, because that's like a coddle culture where things that aren't tangible are important. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? To me, that comes from people who are coddled, because a lot of times artists have to fight for the right to continue to be artists, because sometimes being an artist isn't productive. It doesn't produce anything. So people are fighting. They're making the things, their feelings important. You know, oh, I have a, it's my energy. It's my space. I need to feel free. Let me tell you something. You can feel free all you want to, but you're not going to feel free when you're hungry. And if anybody who's been around artists and artist culture, I'm sorry, Casper. I get it, man. I'm telling you, but I've been around too many people like that. They got to borrow electricity from the next door neighbor and shit like that. Like, this artist shit is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're still supposed to be productive. Okay, let me back up. What I'm saying is, a lot of artists do not have business sense or practical sense as far as life. They don't have practical sense. It's not like a businessman who's trying to keep creating and generate revenue. A lot of artists don't think about keeping food on the table like that. I'm sorry, Casper, man. I just had to say it, fam. I had to say it. I've been around too many artists. Niggas get high shit, and then they ask you for money. Like, nigga, did you just spend $200 on weed? Now you asking me for money because your life's about to get cut off? And you becoming a neighbor like that. That's what kills me. But you get an artist who has a bit who has sense, man. They can do some good things. But the culture is coddling. I gotta say that. But when you implement them, which one do you implement? Is it struggle artists? Yeah, no, I mean, struggle artists are cool, but a lot of people don't want to struggle, and that's the thing I'm talking about to a degree. Like, when you give somebody tough love, you prepare them for struggle. You prepare them how to survive when you're struggling. But when you coddle somebody, you don't prepare them for struggling. You don't. You just leave them. They get accustomed to always somebody being there, and sometimes, Colin has this way of. It's interesting though, because sometimes people who are coddled understand the concept of somebody being there in the nick of time better than people who got tough love. Because if you got tough love, you're going to be more individualistic, to pull yourself up out of bootstraps. If you coddle, you will be a little bit more communal. You're gonna think somebody else is gonna be there to help you when you're down, which that's not a bad thing. But some people get addicted to that, and as you get older, there's gonna be less people to be there because they gotta feed their own selves and family. Which brings me to the next part: tough love versus coddling. Which person has balance? And I think that's interesting because I think you would think people who got tough love are more balanced, but sometimes people who are coddled, I guess, they're not balanced either. They may have emotional intelligence, but they don't have practical intelligence. So it doesn't balance out well. But on the flip side of it, people who got tough love normally have survival type intelligence, but not necessarily emotional intelligence, because if you're going to be self-sufficient, you got to be proficient in things that work. And in this society, you balanced if you're effective. But all work, no play. You can wind up being a successful person who's all work and no play. But you still be looked at as less than a person who is less work and all play, because they'll be more fun. They're enjoying life. And I think both have a jealousy of each other, because the person who is proficient and effective has a little bit of jealousy to the person who's free spirited. Definitely have more. They want to be more free spirited, but they're so busy that it becomes a guilty thing. You feel like rest and relaxation. You feel like you're You feel guilty for doing it. But a person who's coddled, you know, like I don't understand when I hear people say, I don't want to work, or I don't want to work for somebody. I don't want to punch a clock. And the reason I say I don't understand that is because a lot of people say that, and the vast majority of those people are not necessarily entrepreneurial. A lot of those people are just lazy people. Like there are people who literally don't want to work for somebody and they go out and they make their own way. But the vast majority of people are not like that. The vast majority of people just, even people who have jobs, oh, I hate my job. I hate my job. Well, okay, get another job. Oh, I just don't want to work. Okay, figure out a way that you don't have to work anymore. You know, and with there's more play before. Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to me because there's the balance is a little bit off. Um, I was reading you, Mauricio. I was reading what you said. That dichotomy is weird to me. But you did 2 tours in the army. Whoo! I remember that one of my homeboys, man. Oh man, he's still he's abroad right now because he's still in the army. This dude was in training. He flipped over a Hummer and it caught fire. We was like, you are like the worst soldier ever. This was in training, and they had the training exercises where they have the company war simulation, and they had him crawling under the barbed wire. He was the only person in his company that survived the war simulation, basically, or the combat simulation, because his backpack got snagged on a barbed wire, and everybody else went through that drill and died, but he was still stuck. Like, man, he was hilarious. Like, dog, you're the most lucky soldier ever. But that yeah, man, he was killing me, man. He was killing me with the stuff he was doing, and I was no good as a friend because, to be perfectly honest, we used to make fun of him. Oh man, M60 Pop, man. I remember I used to make fun of him in college because I was like, dog, because he said he wanted to be a pilot, but he was legally blind. So I'd be like, dog, like Stevie Wonder can't fly a plane, dog. Like you'll never be a pilot, not in this life. Now he might got LASIK now, but he wanted to be an actual state trooper. So it worked out in the end, but man, he is hilarious. He was hilarious. But a few of my friends in the military is hilarious with that. But it's a private gun. P.O.P. Hold it down. P.O.P. Y'all know about that one. The reasoning kind of gets me too. Because the reasoning for tough love is to make a better person. The reasoning for calling somebody is the reason always has good intentions, but to me the good intention comes with guilt. It's just always guilt, like that baby got beat with a puppy pit bull and they scarred, so we just trying to love on them because they don't, they just had it rough. And it's like, well, you're gonna have to do something about that. Like you're gonna have to teach that person how to fish. Like, come on now, you just can't baby them forever. That's why I was thinking about with Keisha Cole and her mother. She was looking at her mother like she ain't trying to hear nothing her mama got to say because, her mother was so scarred, quote unquote, for being a prostitute, but her mother chose to do all that shit. Was he going with power? No, he wasn't going with power, but he was off the chain, man. He was freaking hilarious, man. Like he's like, come on, dog, are you serious? How you fucking up like this? But that's the good thing about the military. You could burn up a Hummer. Since you enlisted, you really ain't got to pay for that shit. Like, how did you flip over a Hummer, dog? What a Hummer could go up pretty much anything. You tried to go up something too far of an angle, man. You tried to go up something off the chain. He was like, man, it was supposed to make it, I'm like, you can't drive. Then I had to ask him, how the hell it catch on fire? But he never told me that part. So I don't even want to know now, but the shit was funny. The other thing about it, like I said, the reasoning, I'm like, yo, I've never in my life understood sabotaging somebody and justifying that. Hell no, he don't need a Tesla, Derwin. And that's my dog, but he'll wreck a Tesla. I'm sorry. Like, you think I'm joking? He'll wreck a Tesla. And I know you don't have to drive a Tesla. He'll wreck a Tesla that you don't have to drive. He'll wreck that shit. You be like, how the hell that happened? And you tell me the name? Oh, yeah. I could have told you that already. He gonna fuck it up. Some of my friends did some outlandish things, man. Outlandish. Like, I got another homeboy that was in the military. He was narcoleptic, and we had to break in his dorm room because he fell asleep and his bed caught fire, and it's smoking and shit everywhere in the suite. And I was laughing, and I'm like, and I'm breaking in, and we pulling him out of bed. He just knocked out. He like, what happened? I'm like, motherfucker, you about to be on fire. That's what happened. Like when I was in college, my friends in the military, man, give him a 65 Buick. Fam, I'm gonna tell you something. When I say he wrecked everything, he might total a 65 Buick, and you'll be trying to figure out how the hell that happened. He was just not good. He was just not good. And he wound up being a state trooper. Like I said, I left that part alone. But he was just terrible with cars, man. Terrible. About to get roasted. Yeah, he was about to get roasted. And that was one of my dogs, but he was narcoleptic. He was narcoleptic because his dad was in the military, and they moved to Alaska. Anybody who knows about Alaska, when it goes, there's no a period of time where there's no night. That messed him up as a kid. But imagine being to somebody if your battle buddy got narcolepsy. Yeah. And that's a different dude. That shit was so hilarious to me. It's like, dude, how can you, and he played football in high school too. He was a lineman. And he told us, that how he got flattened because he fell asleep on a line in the middle of the game in his stance. I'm like, dog, this is crazy. Yeah, that's how I ended up being 11. Yeah, man. My military friends are hilarious. They're definitely hilarious. Definitely hilarious. But part of the reason why I talk about, this tough love is because of the military. Because think about it. The military is not about coddling whatsoever. And we think about society, when they say they need to get you right, they say, if somebody's really messed up, where do they say to send that fool to the military? If they've been coddled and spoiled, send them to the military. If they're kids, send them to boot camp, which is a military style environment. So that's what I mean by which one works. The military type of environment makes men out of boys. It makes people productive. And some people can't take it. I get that, but the vast majority of people become very productive, skilled individuals. There is not an institution that I can think of off the top of my head that is built off of coddling. That's gonna, send them there. They're gonna get them right by, coddling them. Yeah, grew up with them. Yeah, we both. Oh man, Casper. I ain't seen him in a minute in person. I remember I went back to that city because I was in Baton Rouge. I went back there years and years ago. And that's when he first was a trooper, because he got sent to Guantanamo Bay, and then he came back and graduated and whatnot at the time. And I saw him in a gas station pulling into the city. Boy, it's funny as hell when I pulled up on a cop car. So y'all gotta understand, sometimes I'm off the chain. I pulled up on a cop car talking cash. Shit, he didn't see me at the time, but I was talking cash. He's like, what the hell you doing? I'm gonna beat your ass. And my homeboy turned around when he realized I was talking to him. He was ready to pop off, and he looked up. Man, don't you ever do that shit again? He was like, man, you bastard. Because the whole gas station looking back like, oh man, him and the cops about to get into it. So, but that's my dog. We got down like a mug. That needs detergent. Oh, Lord have mercy. You had a troop that didn't know he needed detergent when washing clothes. Come on, fam. Are you kidding me? He kidding me? Well, actually, all my friends who went to the military got swole. Now, after they left, they wasn't swole no more. They wasn't swole no more after they left. Like, I don't know. So some military cats leave the military and decide to be hot dog eaters for life. That's why I said my homeboy now, he back overseas. All he posts is pictures of hotel food. Like, you kind of, you need 7 New Year's resolutions about that damn weight, don't you? But what's crazy is Tough Love produces better people than Coddling. In my opinion, it just produces better people. Those are the people who can actually take a who are family oriented, who can actually do good things, who can actually be good people. And in my opinion, that's where that's why it always wins out. People may get mad at it and say it's abusive and it hurts you, and it hurts your self-esteem. But to me, it's the best thing smoking. It's the best thing smoking, because I don't see productive people who are coddled. Actually, you got to help them and try to enable an adult to do some shit right, and it's a waste of damn time. I don't like it whatsoever, but that's just my opinion. At this point, let me get out of here because I got some things to do. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Thanks for showing up. Catch y'all the next time. Peace.